News now on Prime. Tragic developments in the search for Gabby Petito. Within the hour, the FBI said investigators have found a body in the search area that fits Petito's description. NewsNation's Brian Inton is standing by with new developments. But first, we want you to hear how the FBI described the case. This just happened moments ago.
Earlier today, human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery.
This comes just hours after new video surfaced showing what appears to be Petito's van, just days after she made her final contact with her family. NewsNation correspondent Brian Inton has been on this story all week. He joins us now live in Florida, where the fiance of Gabby is believed to be Brian Laundrie. All right, Brian Inton, let us know the reaction.
I mean, just heartbreaking to learn this, to think of what Gabby Petito's family must be going through. They were so hopeful up until this morning that she might be found alive. And now we learn, according to the FBI, that they have found a body that fits the description of Gabby Petito in Teton National Park. That is in Wyoming, a massive, massive national park. They made the discovery this afternoon. I spoke with the coroner in Teton County, Wyoming earlier today. He told me that the body was discovered in a very rural part of the park. But I want you to look at this video. You mentioned it earlier, and this is very, very interesting and could be pivotal. There are bloggers, a family of bloggers that were in the park and spotted this van back on August 27th, and you can see it in their video here. They released their video publicly this morning, and then the FBI discovered the body in the same area, we believe, this afternoon. So there very well may be a connection there, and these bloggers may have been pivotal into helping find Gabby Petito's body. But again, obviously just heartbreaking to learn this. Listen to what the FBI said earlier.
On behalf of the FBI personnel and our partners, I would like to extend sincere and heartfelt condolences to Gabby's family. Joe and Tara Petito and Jim and Nicole Schmidt. As every parent can imagine, this is an incredibly difficult time for the family and friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. We ask that you all respect the privacy as they mourn the loss of their daughter.
Okay, and so while this search was happening in Wyoming today, there was another search happening here in Northport, Florida, a massive wildlife reserve about 10 minutes from the fiancé Brian Laundrie's house where we are now. They searched all day by air. They had swamp buggies out, ATVs, airboats, searching for Brian Laundrie. That is the last place they believe that he may have been, but that search turned up nothing. Gabby Petito's fiancé, Brian Laundrie, is still missing right now. Aaron?
Yeah, Brian, any reaction outside of that home, inside of that home? Have you seen anything that's happening there at Laundrie's home after the news broke that a body consistent with that of Gabby Petito has been found?
Well, let me show you, because things have changed out here. The police, since this news happened this afternoon, have closed off the road. Before, you would have seen media cars all parked here up and down the street and a ton of reporters. They've now closed off the road and said that no media can be in front of the house right here. So that is a big development since this happened. We're told that there may be more officers coming into this area. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. We know Brian Laundrie's parents are still inside the house behind me.
All right, now you talked about how big of an area Grand Teton National Park is. It's 485 square miles, but we're also talking about a distance here, Brian Inton, of Wyoming to Florida. This is a very expansive search. Any clue on how investigators are handling what's happening in Wyoming, as well as a second missing persons case out of Florida to try to find this person of interest in Brian Laundrie?
Well, now that it appears Gabby Petito has been found, of course, the focus now is going to be on Brian Laundrie. And does this remain a missing persons case, or does this become now a manhunt? We have asked the police that, Northport Police, who are the head agency on all of this. They haven't responded quite yet. But yes, they are looking now for Brian Laundrie. His parents in the house behind me told police that he was at this wildlife reserve hiking on Tuesday, and that was the last time that they saw him. They didn't report that to police until Friday. So police police have been focusing on the wildlife reserve, but even police have said they're trying to corroborate the parents' story. They're not even sure whether or not they believe the parents. Could Brian Laundrie not even be in that area and be somewhere totally else? We just don't know right now.
Very quickly, Brian, before you go, I want to make one more reference to the press conference. No questions were taken, but did they mention a cause of death?
They did not mention a cause of death, and they were very clear, the FBI, that the description of the body matched Gabby Petito, but they still have to do a forensic analysis of the body.
Brian Entin standing by, will be here throughout the next 2 hours here on NewsNation Prime. Brian will check back with you momentarily. This just coming out on the world of social media. This is on Twitter from Gabby's father, Joe Petito. You can see a picture of Gabby with hashtag Gabby Petito. She touched the world. Now to Stuart Kaplan, who is a former FBI investigator who joins us now, a special agent with the FBI. Stuart, thanks for being with us.
Good evening.
What happens now? The case like this is so big. We're just talking to our reporter from Wyoming to Florida. What are investigators going to zero in on now?
They are preparing to put the pieces of all of the evidence together because it is anticipated. And I say anticipated, assuming Brian, the potential person of interest, does not commit suicide or suicide by cop, that he will be prosecuted ultimately for the death of his girlfriend, Gabby. And so they want to make sure that they only have one opportunity to collect this evidence. They want to go through it very methodically and make sure that they don't miss anything, because ultimately they're working towards putting the pieces together to present in a court of law.
Stuart, I don't know if you just heard from the press conference the emotion that was in this FBI agent. I want you to listen to this one more time.
On behalf of the FBI personnel and our partners, I would like to extend sincere and heartfelt condolences to Gabby's family. Joe and Tara Petito and Jim and Nicole Schmidt. As every parent can imagine, this is an incredibly difficult time for the family and friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. We ask that you all respect the privacy as they mourn the loss of their daughter.
Stuart, this is never easy. This is something that I don't envy you in your line of work. It's difficult. What do you take away from the emotion that you heard there?
So I've unfortunately been present during a lot of these press conferences in my career, and I picked up immediately on his empathy and his sympathy, and clearly he had trouble keeping it together. That is an indication that given the decomposition of the body, meaning Gabby, whether it was the elements or a combination of the elements, and also, you're going to have wildlife out there in the preserve with respect to if she was found in a shallow grave or just unexposed, meaning exposed, meaning that she was just dumped somewhere. Clearly, you're going to have a brutal crime scene with respect to what is just difficult for anybody to have to deal with. And again, ultimately, as you know, the parents are going to have to identify, or at least they're going to have an opportunity to identify their daughter. And, these are just tough cases. But as I reported a couple of nights ago when I was on your program, I said it was just a matter of time. In fact, I indicated quite quickly that this case was going to come to a conclusion. And that is, you're seeing local, state, and federal law enforcement, and you even touched upon it. How do you keep it all together with, the distance between Wyoming and Florida and also up in New York? And that is where the FBI is at its best because of their ability to bring in resources that, quite frankly, the local and state law enforcement agencies do not have. And that is why I think you're going to see, and I don't say this, unfortunately, a successful outcome, but you're going to see this quickly resolved or solved and someone ultimately held accountable for this unfortunate death of Gabby.
Stuart, as we wrap up with you right now, and you're going to be with us over the next couple of hours, I want to ask you about the release of the private video of the van and then the FBI asking today for help from the public. This has been a case that has been in every media outlet, on newspaper, in video, on newscast. they're now asking for help. How integral is a case like this when you talked about the distance here and the expanse of Florida to Wyoming to New York, that they are getting help from people who may have been around them?
No question about it. And one of the things I touched upon a couple of nights ago, it's nearly impossible to travel anywhere within the United States, certainly by vehicle, and not be picked up somewhere on surveillance or on someone's iPhone or just in going through a toll plaza or in a gas station. And that is where the FBI really utilizes, quite frankly, its counterparts and technology with respect to piecing together these complicated and complex crime scenes with respect to being able to go state by state, county by county, city by city. And ultimately, quite frankly, a lot of these cases depend upon the public's assistance. And here is a perfect example where you have people randomly taking video, and at the time obviously didn't think much of it, and now it may ultimately hold the key to zeroing in and finding not only the victim but ultimately finding the crime scene, and also now being able to put the pieces of the puzzle together to hold someone accountable for her death.
Yeah, there is some speculation that van video did lead to that crime scene. Stuart Kaplan, former FBI special agent. Thank you again, Stuart. Will be with us over the next couple of hours. We want to go back now.